what is happening in the world of tech and beyond? We've got the latest, hottest updates you need to know, hitting you with a rapid-fire rundown of everything that matters. The digital landscape is shifting faster than ever, and staying ahead means catching these crucial insights as they drop. Get ready for a flood of essential information that you absolutely cannot afford to miss. From groundbreaking algorithm shifts to the next big device leaks, we're covering it all with the energy you expect. Let's dive straight into the news that's making waves right now. Algorithm updates and volatility. Google's latest moves in search are shaking things up, with a recent spam update causing significant volatility. We're seeing intense changes rolling out, impacting how content is surfaced and ranked. Plus, Google's new AI mode is expanding globally, pushing updates to its AI model and exploring new ways to drive clicks for its AI results. This comes amidst studies suggesting traditional search isn't declining, despite Google's own data. Add to this a major crawling issue that affected many sites for weeks and the rollout of the preferred sources feature in the US and UK, and you've got a recipe for a dynamic search environment. We're unpacking all the details. Google Pixel 10a leaks. Get ready for the next generation of affordable smartphones, but manage your expectations. Rumors suggest the upcoming Pixel 10a might be sticking with last year's Tensor G4 chip, a move that could disappoint some users looking for the latest advancements. It's also expected to retain similar storage and camera setups, though a brighter display is on the horizon. Crucially, it might miss out on some of the cutting-edge AI features introduced with the flagship Pixel 10 series. Will this cost-saving approach pay off, or will it leave fans wanting more? We've got the inside scoop. EU antitrust delays. Major developments in the world of regulation and tech giants. The European Union has put a hold on a significant antitrust fine against Google concerning its advertising technology practices. This delay, originally set for September 1st, is reportedly due to concerns about potential retaliation from U.S. President Donald Trump and its impact on ongoing trade talks. Officials were prepared to impose a fine and mandate changes to Google's ad business model, but internal discussions flagged the risks. This pause could mean weeks of further deliberation and potentially alter the final decision, especially as U.S. regulators are also pursuing their own antitrust actions against Google. What does this mean for the future of digital advertising? EU Google antitrust penalty halted. Digging deeper into the regulatory landscape, we're looking at a critical halt in the European Union's penalty against Google. An 11th-hour intervention by EU Trade Commissioner Maroš Šefčovič has paused the decision in the 4-year-old tech investigation. This move comes amidst ongoing trade tensions and threats from U.S. President Donald Trump. The decision, which targets Google's core search advertising business, was reportedly halted against the wishes of the Competition Commissioner. This sensitive situation highlights the complex interplay between trade policy and tech regulation. Stay tuned as we break down the implications of this significant pause. Don't miss a single update. Hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and join the conversation in the comments below. Google search landscape in flux. Prepare for a seismic shift in how you experience online information. Google's search ecosystem is currently undergoing a period of intense evolution, marked by significant algorithm updates and widespread volatility. The recent August 2025 spam update has already made its presence felt, rolling out with considerable intensity and showing no signs of stopping. This event adds to the ongoing turbulence that has characterized the search landscape over the past few months, creating an environment where staying informed about ranking changes and search behavior is more critical than ever. Beyond the core algorithm, Google is aggressively pushing its new AI mode, expanding its availability to an impressive 180 countries and territories worldwide. This global rollout is accompanied by continuous updates to the AI model itself, as Google actively experiments with strategies to enhance user engagement with its AI-generated results. Curiously, this push comes despite statements from Google's Liz Reed suggesting that click stability is maintained and that external studies on search decline might be flawed. However, Google's own research into encouraging AI result clicks might also be subject to scrutiny. especially when contrasted with findings indicating that traditional search methods are not experiencing a decline. Compounding these developments, Google experienced a substantial crawling issue that affected a significant portion of websites for a couple of weeks. This technical hiccup disrupted the indexing and visibility of many online properties, adding another layer of complexity to the search environment. On a more positive note for content creators and publishers, Google has also rolled out its preferred sources feature in the United States and the United Kingdom, a move that could offer new avenues for visibility and traffic. These updates are part of a broader trend of Google testing numerous search features, AI integrations, and core changes, indicating a period of rapid innovation and adaptation within the search giant. These developments have sparked considerable discussion within the SEO and webmaster communities. Many are closely monitoring the impact of the spam update, while others are strategizing how to leverage the preferred sources feature. The broader implications of AI integration into search and its potential effect on user behavior and traditional content discovery remain a key focus of analysis and debate. But before we dive deeper into the future of AI in search, hold on tight because the next story involves the very hardware powering these innovations. Next, we're shifting gears to uncover the latest whispers about Google's upcoming smartphone releases. Pixel 10a, a budget contender's spec sheet revealed. Speculation is mounting regarding Google's next affordable smartphone, the Pixel 10a, with the latest leaks hinting at a device that may play it safe on the hardware front, potentially disappointing those eager for cutting-edge advancements. Expected to launch early next year, the Pixel 10a appears poised to adopt a familiar, albeit slightly dated, internal architecture. According to insider information from a prominent teepster, the Pixel 10a will reportedly be equipped with the Tensor G4 system-on-chip, SoC. This is the same processor that is expected to power the Pixel 9a and potentially other devices within the Pixel 9 series. This strategic decision suggests that Google might be implementing significant cost-cutting measures for its upcoming A-series offering, prioritizing affordability over the absolute latest silicon. This move aligns with past practices for the A-series, which typically offers a compelling balance of features and price, but this year's iteration might lean more heavily on cost saving. Further details from the teepster indicate that the Pixel 10a will likely mirror the Pixel 9a in terms of storage technology, featuring UFS 3.1. This standard offers decent performance, but is a step behind the more advanced UFS 4 found in flagship devices. In terms of imaging capabilities, the Pixel 10a is expected to retain a similar dual-camera setup on the rear, omitting a dedicated telephoto lens. While this configuration has served the A-series well, offering solid primary and ultra-wide performance, the absence of optical zoom might be a point of contention for photography enthusiasts. However, not all news is a step back. The teepster also suggests that the Pixel 10a will boast a brighter display compared to its predecessor. Specifically, it is anticipated to feature a panel capable of reaching 2,000 nits of peak brightness. This enhancement should improve outdoor visibility and HDR content playback, making the display a notable upgrade. On the software and AI front, the Pixel 10a is expected to miss out on several of the advanced AI features that are being introduced with the flagship Pixel 10 lineup. Features like Magic Q are rumored to be exclusive to the higher-end models, further differentiating the affordable option. Google recently made waves with the unveiling of its Pixel 10, Pixel 10 Pro, Pixel 10 Pro XL, and Pixel 10 Pro Fold, all powered by the new Tensor G4 SoC and packed with enhanced AI capabilities. The Pixel 10a, slated for an April 2026 release, represents Google's strategy to capture the budget-conscious market segment. The community response to these leaks has been mixed, with some appreciating the continued focus on value, while others express disappointment over the perceived lack of innovation in core components. While the hardware rumors are intriguing, the regulatory world is also buzzing with significant developments that could reshape the tech landscape. We're now turning our attention to Europe, where a major antitrust decision has been put on hold, with potentially far-reaching consequences. EU antitrust probe. Google fine delayed amid geopolitical concerns. The European Union has reportedly paused its impending antitrust sanction against Alphabet Inc.'s Google, a move that was originally slated for September 1st. This significant delay in penalizing Google for alleged abuses within the advertising technology sector is reportedly driven by apprehensions over potential trade repercussions from the United States, specifically concerning remarks and actions by President Donald Trump. Sources indicate that officials within the European Commission had finalized plans to impose a substantial fine on Google and mandate specific structural changes to its dominant ad business model. However, a last-minute intervention by senior figures outside the core competition team raised concerns about the timing and potential fallout. The fear was that a strong punitive action against a major American tech company could provoke retaliatory tariffs or trade barriers from the U.S., thereby jeopardizing ongoing trade negotiations between Washington and Brussels. This delicate geopolitical balancing act has led to the 11th-hour pause, potentially pushing the final decision back by several weeks. According to Bloomberg, the draft ruling was expected to include both a financial penalty, anticipated to be smaller than previous multi-billion euro fines levied on Google, and a cease and desist order aimed at halting practices deemed anti-competitive. The specific allegations center on Google's alleged exploitation of its dominant position in the digital advertising ecosystem, including favoring its own ad exchange services and creating an uneven playing field for rivals. These accusations have been under scrutiny since 2023, with regulators arguing that Google's practices create a structural imbalance in the market. Margrethe Vestager, the former competition chief, had previously suggested that only a divestiture of parts of Google's ad business could adequately address the concerns raised. During her tenure, she oversaw multiple cases against Google, resulting in over 8 billion euros in fines. The current delay is particularly noteworthy as the U.S. itself is actively pursuing antitrust actions against Google. American regulators have been pushing for Google to divest its ad manager business, a stance recently affirmed by a federal court. A trial to determine the appropriate remedies in the U.S. case is reportedly scheduled for September 22nd, adding another layer of complexity to the global regulatory landscape surrounding Google's advertising practices. The European Commission has stated that the inquiry remains ongoing and declined to comment further on the specifics of the delay. Google also refrained from commenting on the matter. The initial report of the delay was attributed to MLEX. This situation highlights the intricate relationship between regulatory enforcement, corporate power, and international trade dynamics. The decision to delay the fine underscores the broader economic and political considerations that influence antitrust actions against global tech giants. While the focus has been on regulatory hurdles, the tech world is also witnessing high-stakes actions that could change the game. Stay with us as we explore another critical development in the EU's regulatory stance on major tech players. EU halts Google ad tech penalty amid U.S. trade tensions. In a dramatic turn of events, the European Union has halted the planned issuance of a penalty against Google, the tech behemoth owned by Alphabet Inc., concerning its long-standing ad technology practices. This intervention, described as an 11th-hour move, was reportedly orchestrated by EU Trade Commissioner Maroš Šefčovič and occurred despite the original decision being supported by the Competition Commissioner. The penalty, which was set to be delivered on Monday, was the culmination of a 4-year-old investigation into Google's edtech operations. Sources familiar with the confidential process revealed that Google had been notified to expect a decision on this particular Monday. The investigation strikes at the core of Google's highly profitable online advertising business model, making it a particularly sensitive and impactful case. The decision's delivery was ultimately stalled by Šefčovič, reportedly against the wishes of Competition Commissioner Teresa Rybra, indicating internal disagreements within the European Commission regarding the timing and implications of the action. This abrupt halt is closely linked to ongoing trade tensions and persistent tariff threats emanating from U.S. President Donald Trump. The intervention suggests a strategic consideration of potential retaliation from the United States, which could negatively impact transatlantic trade relations and ongoing negotiations. By pausing the penalty, the EU appears to be navigating a complex geopolitical landscape, attempting to avoid actions that could provoke adverse economic responses from the U.S. government. The EU's investigation, which began in 2023, accused Google of leveraging its dominant position in the ad tech market to disadvantage competitors and solidify its control over the digital advertising ecosystem. Regulators have pointed to practices where Google allegedly favored its own ad exchange services, thereby creating a structural imbalance that harms market competition. This development occurs at a time when the U.S. is also pursuing its own antitrust measures against Google. The U.S. Department of Justice has been advocating for Google to divest its ad manager business, a position recently upheld by a federal court. With a trial scheduled for September 22 to determine remedies in the U.S. case, the global regulatory scrutiny on Google's ad practices is intensifying. The EU's decision to pause its penalty, influenced by these broader trade and geopolitical factors, adds another layer of complexity to the ongoing efforts to regulate big tech. The community and industry observers are closely watching how these regulatory actions unfold, particularly given the interconnectedness of global trade and digital markets. The implications of this halt could extend beyond Google, influencing how other major tech companies are regulated in the face of international trade dynamics. As we wrap up this segment, it's clear that the tech world is constantly evolving, with major shifts happening across the board. Stay tuned for a quick recap of all the top stories and your next steps to stay connected with us. We've covered a lot of ground today. Google's search engine is seeing major algorithm shifts and AI integration, potentially changing how we find information online. Google's budget Pixel 10a might be sticking with older tech, sparking debate about value versus innovation. Meanwhile, the EU has delayed a massive antitrust fine against Google due to geopolitical concerns and potential U.S. retaliation, a move that could reshape tech regulation. And in a surprising twist, an 11th-hour intervention has halted another EU penalty against Google's ad tech business amidst trade tensions. Don't miss out on any of these critical updates. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Google Trends Hub for more essential news, ring the notification bell so you're always in the loop, drop a comment below with your thoughts, and follow us on all our social channels to stay connected.